Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us to look at our second playoff semi-final preview. Yesterday, you can check it out on the channel. We did Bournemouth versus Brentford, and today, by process of deduction, you will know that we are going to be doing a Barnsley versus Swansea. We'll get into it in just a second. Thank you, everybody, because look up there, we are partnered by Football 365 for these playoff games. Really, really happy. Announced this yesterday, and thank you to you lot. I know sometimes people don't like change, but generally really, really overwhelmed with how it was received. And great news for the channel. So Football 365 themselves are partnered with Betfair. So we're going to be carrying a few Betfair bits and bobs on here. These videos are going to be over on the Football 365 website, and I'm going to be writing as well. So we'll put that all in on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom there. But good news for the channel, onwards and upwards. And speaking of onwards and upwards, both of these teams are going to hope it's going to be onwards and upwards into the second leg for them. But they've got to get through the first leg first. It's Barnsley versus Swansea. 4th versus 5th. 8:15 p.m. on Monday night. We will be here for the watch along. There'll be a separate stream for each of the games. One's at 6, one's at 8:15. But don't worry, we'll be covering both, and I cannot wait. Let's have a look at the form of both sides going into this knockout playoff competition. And there is our Barnsley form. Look, they've been outstanding this season, haven't they? Coming into those last 8 games, still 14 points, just putting the points on the board repeatedly all season. You know my standard is 2 points per game, and you're looking good. So Barnsley just shy of that. Couple of defeats. They're a bit flat against Coventry. Preston as well, defeat in there. Some good wins in there over Luton and Borough, Huddersfield and Rotherham. A draw on the last day against Norwich. A draw against Reading as well. So, they haven't lost to any of the big boys in the last 8, have they? It's, as I said, Coventry and Preston in there. We've got the normal comments about Barnsley. Oh, they play with a very, very high intensity style. Will they drop off? Well, I think those type of comments discount the fact that if you are playing with a high intensity style, you've probably factored in for this and worked at it, and I'm sure they are looking very, very heavily at player fitness, especially in the COVID schedule, and they will be ready to go, pressing harder than ever against Swansea this weekend. Swansea, not so good. So 11 points in their last 8 games, and they're quite a way down there. You can see 12th in that form table I've got, and let's be honest, that's picked up a fair few teams. Had to do it by date. They've only played 7 games as well, so they could be lower. Forget the 12th place. It's 11 points in 8, which in general terms is not really playoff form, but then Swansea haven't really been in playoff form for about the last third of the season, after indeed getting into, they were in the box seat in 3rd place with games in hand that could have taken them top at one stage. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't. There are the results. 3 defeats in there against Preston. Preston are a bit of a nuisance for these 2 teams, aren't they? QPR and then Watford away on the last day. So much to say about this, because that Preston one, I think, did they have 3 defeats, 4 defeats in a row at that point, losing games late on. And of course, we're going to get a formation switch, and Steve Cooper basically having to say, look, this is not working. We're not going to get through the playoffs the way things stand. Victories in there, though. They beat Derby, Sheffield Wednesday and Millwall. Obviously, there's going to be some argument there that wins over Derby and Sheffield Wednesday. Remember, they were duking it out just to stay in the division on the final day. Let's try and figure out the Barnsley team. And I have joked through the season when we've been doing the reviews and the super streams that particularly with the entire back 8, i.e. everyone except the front 3, we know exactly what they're going to do. We know what the shape's going to be. We know what the system is going to be. In that back 8, there's just one position, that right centre-back position, where we've seen a little bit of switching. But there you go. Collins, Anderson, Hellick, Sibic. That's where you might... Would you see Solbauer? I don't know. Sibic in lately. Britton and Styles, the excellent wing-backs. You can see there Jasper Moon and Ramal Palmer. We would strongly expect Jasper Moon would not be starting in this playoff game and that captain Alex Mowat would be returning. I think they've kept him out of the way, wrapped in cotton wool. Little problem at the end of the season, but we're expecting him to be back from what I'm hearing. And then the front 3 there, in that last game, it was Carlton Morris, Connor Chaplin, Corley Woodrow. Look on the bench though, Freeser, DK, Adeboyejo. Interesting. I suspect we'll see DK starting. Not entirely sure how the 3 will be configured. Let me know in the comments. It doesn't really matter, does it? Because we know whichever 3 of the 6, and believe me, we will see all 6 of those sort of forward players involved in the front 3. They're all going to be involved at some point, aren't they? How it's configured, well, you try and let me know what you think in the comments on that one. But DK has certainly been the kind of goal getter since his arrival in February. Swansea. Now, this is a confusing one because it's 4 at the back in the last game, and it's been 4 at the back for the last few games. And I also went on the Swans cast the other day, had a bit of a chat to them about the playoffs, and their view was it was going to stay as a back 4. I just have this little nugget in the back of my head that it might be a back 3. I don't know. There's 2 arguments here. Cooper has moved away from the 3. He's now gone with a 4. He's kind of ingrained that in as the system, and he'll stick with it. But just the argument against, he was comfortable with the 3 beforehand. It would be probably a surprise for Barnsley, and it would match up as well. Sometimes managers do like symmetry on the pitch. They like to match up with the opponent's shape to just kind of simplify what they're seeing out in front of them, sort of configuration-wise. So, there's not that much that actually would move between the 2 formations. So there's Woodman in goal. He'll definitely play. Gay and Bennett. That would be the centre-backs in a back 4, wouldn't it? Bidwell and Roberts. And then you've just got to factor in Kyle Norton, who can either play full-back or he can play right side centre-back. So if you were going to go with a 5, you'd probably be, or back 3, however you want to phrase it, you'd probably be dropping Norton in between Bennett and Roberts there and playing wing-backs instead. Now, midfield, I don't see that changing. Fulton, Grimes, Hurahan, and you'd expect it to be Grimes will be it's a good balance actually. Grimes the deep line playmaker. Fulton will be the glue and a bit of a stopper, a bit of a number 8, and Hurahan, they'll want to be a little bit further forward to sort of either provide crosses or through balls and, transition that ball into the front. So whichever system, I suspect they'll be the 3 midfielders. And then it was Lowe, Cullen and Ayew up top. Again, Cullen is the full guy if they go to a back 3, isn't he? Because you'd expect Cullen out and in would come Kyle Norton. Remember, Kyle Norton can also play orthodox fullback, but I do think he'll go with Connor Roberts. Cullen being in there does allow Ayew and Lowe to just move out a little bit and pick up the half positions. Remember, neither of them are dedicated forwards. We've done this until we're blue in the face, but they have both provided goals in the absence of said dedicated forward. So, after speaking to the Swans cast, I'm 60-40 that it will be a back 4, in which case it could well be that team, other than He'll probably go for Bennett for experience. Obviously, Cabango's a good centre-half as well. If he really wanted to go for experience, we have seen him do this, Wayne Routledge started when they were losing games and he wanted experience on the pitch. He did put Routledge in, but I think Cullen will give him a little bit more up top. Norton and Roberts, I think he goes Roberts, doesn't he? But there is just that nagging thing. Could he play a 3 and surprise me and lots of people expecting it to be a back 4? Let me know what you think in the comments. Here is my Barnsley one to watch. We'll go for Michael Helic, who's got a lot of plaudits this season, hasn't he? 25-year-old Polish international. Didn't start that well. First time also Michael Helic. I was in the stadium, actually. He was red-carded against Reading under Gerhard Struber, playing in the back 3. They had 2 red cards that day, if I'm remembering that correctly. But he's gone from strength to strength through the season, as have Barnsley. We saw him playing for Poland against England. He did concede a penalty, didn't he, against Raheem Sterling. But Sterling is how you would describe his excellent work this season. Remember how high that Barnsley backline pushes. It is vital that people like Michael Helic, Mads Andersen, we expect it will be Civic, could be Solbauer, they win. Second balls aren't good enough. They've got to win the first balls when there's that space behind. It's a risky system, but the players know what they're doing. They know what they're looking at. They push up to halfway. Helic is the middle of the 3. He's in charge of that. And if you look at the attacking numbers as well, by the way, 43 starts in his first season. Brilliant. 5 goals and 6 missed big chances. So he's definitely a threat at set plays, is Michael Helic. Interceptions and tackles, clearances, as you can imagine, decent down the bottom there. Remember, Barnsley's style of defending is to push up. It's risky, but not give the opponents any time on the ball. And that does require Helic to be defending on the front foot and very high up. So look out for Michael Helic. If you want to head over to Betfair, I think a few people might like this one. Michael Helic to score any time, 8-1 for a 5-goal centre-half. And we know long throw-ins, free kicks and corners are going in the box. Helic is a threat. 8-1 at Betfair if you fancy a little bit of that one on Michael Helic, first goal. He is our one to watch for Barnsley. And our one to watch for Swansea is indeed Connor Roberts. Very, very easy to go to Andre Ayew. But I really think the usage of Connor Roberts tells us what Steve Cooper's doing in this game. Is he going to play a back 4 with Roberts at right back? We've even heard rumours that he would happily play Roberts right far forward in a right midfield position. And that would genuinely be a right winger in a Swansea system, because we know they're going to play a narrow midfield 3. Or is he going to play him at wing back where he's been at his absolute best? I'm still up in the air about that, but Roberts is key up and down that right-hand side. And look at, I mean, we're so lucky in the Championship. He's up against Callum Styles as well, so it's going to be great down that side of the pitch. There's going to be a lot of ball down there. Both guys are going to be trying to push the other one back, but we're going to know by A, how Roberts is used in the actual formation, and B, where is he on the pitch. We're going to really know how Swansea are doing. If they're in the game and they're doing well, Roberts is going to be forward and he's going to be impactful, and he may even be in a wing-back role. I think I've laboured that point now. If he's pegged back by the front left runner and coming up behind him, Callum Styles, the excellent Callum Styles, then, you know, Barnsley are maybe on top. So Roberts is a bit of a barometer for Swansea here. A bit of a canary in a coal mine, so to speak. Look at those stats. 46 played, 43 starts, 5 goals, 7 assists. Great season for Connor Roberts. He's our one to watch for the Swans. And there, my friends, is a key battle. Alex Mowat and Matt Grimes. Look, they're probably not going to come bang up against each other like a winger or a fullback. But the similarities are really quite striking, aren't they? Both play for Leeds, deep-lying playmakers, both that left-footed sort of central midfielder, giving you that balance. Both good set play guys. And both of these players are the ones where if they want the ball circulated with quality and transitioned into those front positions, it's not going to be Fulton or Palmer that's doing that. It's going to be Mowat or Grimes for their respective sides. Yes, like I said, they won't be coming up against each other. But I think this could be tight. And I think it could be the fine margins. And maybe it's a player a little bit further back that could have a big, big influence. Obviously, they're coming at it from slightly different angles here because Barnsley put the pressure on and the ball is ahead of Alex Mowat a lot of the time in his vision, and he's kind of running onto it and first time balls through, good long range shooter, and we've mentioned the set plays, corners, free kicks, etc. Whereas a Matt Grimes is going to be a little bit deeper, he's going to be picking the ball up and trying to play through. So again, look at where they are on the pitch, and if, as Barnsley have done many, many times, they make Swansea adapt their style, then you might see Matt Grimes having to play a bit more like Alex Mowat. Barnsley do that though. They put people off their stride, don't they? So I'm interested in those two. I'm a fan of both players, I have to say. And could we get a Grimes goal? I put Grimes from outside the box. Over on Betfair, Matt Grimes, first goal scorer, 18-1. Do you fancy a tight game? Not many shots inside the penalty box? Maybe. You might want your left-footed central midfielder to be having to go from outside. How far is he going to get advanced? Is that price fair? 18-1 if you fancy a bit of Matt Grimes for first goal scorer. We want to know what you fancy. Let's get into predictions then. So, there are your odds from Betfair, and they've just got Barnsley squeaking this one. Barnsley 11-10, Swansea at 5-2. This is just for these 90 minutes. And the draw is at 9-4. We normally do this live, don't we? But we're on pre-record this week. Let me know what you think. Home, draw, or away in this one. Are you Barnsley? Are you Swansea? Or are you calling it down the middle? I'll give my prediction when you see my Bet Builder treble, which Betfair have asked me to do. So a little bit of fun. If you go onto the Betfair website, just head over to bring up this match. And the Bet Builder treble is in the menu. I think it's popular then all, and then it's at the top. And you can basically stick 3 bets together, like Bits used to do in our watch-alongs. Here's mine. So I have gone for a combination of these 3 things. Goals scored in both halves. No. I think there will be one half without a goal in this one. So I've put no on that one. Under 2.5 goals in the game. I think it's going to be tight. I don't think we're going to get 3 goals or more. And I've hedged my bets. Barnsley plus a draw. That's a double chance. So if it's either a Barnsley win or a draw, then we are quids in there. 2.43-1. So fairly conservative from me. But hey, this partnership's new and I'm just figuring out how to do it and what's going to work and what's not. So let me just go over that one more time. A goal scored in both halves. I've said no. So that means one half will have no goals. Under 2.5 goals in the game. And a Barnsley plus draw double chance. So I think, and I'm not saying they're going to win the tie on the base of this. I think Barnsley might edge this one in a very low scoring, very tight, intense, tactical game. I'm looking forward to it. We'll probably be completely the wrong way round, expecting an open flowing game down at Bournemouth and possibly something a bit more strategic game of chess up at Oakwell. I am fascinated to see what you guys are saying in the comments. That is our preview for Barnsley versus Swansea. Please check out, they're going to be up on Friday, my written previews of these games over on Football 365. Give them a follow. And if you do fancy a little bit of a flutter on this, head over to Betfair. And I'm not for 1 second advising you to follow any of my hints. I'm just throwing them out there, just dangling them in as some possible ideas that you might find interesting. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We are going to be... Actually, let me figure out my timelines here. If you're watching this, we probably already have previewed League One. They're going to be starting on Tuesday. So we'll have a little preview of League One tomorrow lunchtime, and this should be out tomorrow afternoon at some point. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Planning something a bit special playoff-wise for the weekend as well. And then when we get to Monday... Let the games begin. Who said that? Bane in Batman. Well, I think it might be a few centuries older than that, but there we go. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Get your predictions in the comments, and it's a big over and out from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.